understand why paying off your house may not be the best use of your money if you understand how money works. Get ready. I'm going to show you how you can actually get out of debt faster, quicker, smarter than sending extra principal payments against your mortgage or paying it off the traditional way. This may blow you away. So I'm Doug Andrew. I've been a financial strategist now for 5 decades, helping people optimize their assets and minimize taxes. And I've helped a lot of people get out of debt the smartest, quickest way and become their own banker. And so many times people will go, I don't understand this, Doug. I thought the smartest thing was to pay off my house and send extra principal payments against the mortgage. So I've done a lot of education videos. I've written several books about this. Let me, in this episode, ask you some questions to start out with. How much would you invest in the following investment account? Okay. You determine the amount and length of time for your monthly contributions to this investment. Is that okay? Well, you can pay more than the minimum monthly contribution, but you can't pay less. People are usually okay with that. It makes them a little bit nervous. In fact, if you attempt to pay less, the financial institution keeps all of your previous contributions to this investment. I don't like that one. People go, what kind of an investment is this? Well, not only that, the money deposited in the account is not safe from loss of principal. You can lose your principal in this investment. I don't like that. Do you? In fact, each contribution you make to this investment results in less safety. The more you contribute, the less safe it becomes. Ooh, what is this? Is that really a good investment? The money in the account is not liquid. You can't access it easily or readily when you need it in case of an emergency. In fact, the money in this account earns a 0% rate of return. What? Why would you put money in here? Your income tax liability increases with every single contribution. And when the plan is fully funded, there is no income paid out to you. Now, about half of my audiences, when I get to this point, they know what I'm talking about. What is this? It is your house. It is your house with a mortgage that you're paying off by sending extra principal payments against it, by sending and paying down your house. Did you have any epiphanies? It is not a good investment. So real estate equity is not a prudent investment. It is not liquid. It is not safe. It does not earn a rate of return. And you're actually killing your tax advantages. So that's why I teach better ways to be able to maintain liquidity, safety, and earn predictable rates of return tax-free and not kill your partner, Uncle Sam. And you can actually get out of debt by having your assets exceed your liabilities much faster than sending extra principal payments against the mortgage. Now, many times in front of an audience, I would take a $100 bill out of my money clip, and I would hypothetically put it in a tin can and say, okay, I'm going to bury this $100 bill in a tin can in my backyard. And let me ask you these same questions. Is this $100 bill buried in a tin can in my backyard liquid? Yeah, as long as I can remember where I buried it, right? Is it safe? Yeah, maybe as long as my wife doesn't know where I buried it, okay? Is it earning a rate of return? Well, everybody goes, no. In fact, it's probably doing what? It's losing value because of inflation or whatever. So what is the difference between a $100 bill buried in a tin can in my backyard and the hundreds of thousands of dollars that we tie up in the bricks, mortar, wood, and foundation of our houses? I would submit that this $100 bill buried in a tin can is actually more liquid and safe than the money that we tie up in the equity in our properties, okay? So let me illustrate this for you. So when I tell people home equity or real estate equity always has the same rate of return, 0. Zip, nada. They go, what do you mean? My house went up in value the last 15 years. It's going to do that regardless of whether you had a lot of equity or no equity, and whether it was mortgaged to the hilt or free and clear. Has nothing to do with equity having a rate of return. And so to help them understand this, oftentimes I would pull out a pitcher and a goblet, okay? And so I would say, okay, let's say that this goblet represents your house. And let's say it's worth $100,000, just to keep it simple here. and you've not put your first dollar of liquid cash into it. And so this house is worth $100,000, and you're filling out your balance sheet, your statement of net worth. So if you're buying a house, and even though you maybe owe money on it, you still list it on your balance sheet as an asset. This is a $100,000 asset, a house worth $100,000. Now, if I have $100,000 of liquid cash in a bank or credit union, or better yet, in a max funded indexed insurance policy where I'm earning a better rate of return and it's tax-free, that's a $100,000 asset, correct? How much do I have in total assets? $200,000. I have a $100,000 home and $100,000 of cash. That equals $200,000. Now, I may have $200,000 of assets minus a $100,000 mortgage liability for a net worth of just $100,000 day one. But day two forward, it's much greater if you keep these two assets separated. That's not what most Americans do. They combine them together. What happens if I take my cash when I buy the property and I pay a 20% down payment? Or let's say I take all of the equity from my former house and put it into a huge down payment, thinking that lower mortgages mean lower costs, because nobody taught me about opportunity costs. Or what if I pay off my house and I take all of my money and pay off the house? There's a reason why this turned green, okay? Now, what did I just do to my assets? I just took one $100,000 asset, the house, and another $100,000 asset, my cash, and I just combined them together into one $100,000 asset. I just cut them in half. Does everybody see this? That's why I color it green. It's real money. So far, so good? So I cut my assets in half. I don't know if that's smart. So what happens if I separate 80% of my real estate equity? Or like I do, I separate 80% at a lower interest rate, and then I separate the last 20% if you've got good credit with a line of credit, maybe a little bit higher interest rate. I separate 100% of my equity and put it over here. Where's over here? Well, you can put it in a bank, but I'd recommend you put it over here in an investment that passes the liquidity, safety, and the rate of return test with flying colors, and it's tax-free. What is that? That is a maximum funded index universal life policy. Structured correctly and funded properly, it's called a laser fund, and laser means liquid assets, safely earning returns. I have earned over here since 1997, 11.17% average, netting 10.07 after all costs. Since 1980, I've averaged 9.62. And people say, are you still earning that? Absolutely, through rebalancing and diversification. Just in the last a couple of years, as of the recording of this episode, through the COVID-19 pandemic, we had many IUL policies that got credited 25%, 61%, even 158% by using the strategies I teach in my book that I'd like to gift you at the end of this episode. So yes, I'm still earning those rates of return. The point is this. If I separate it, I give the money the ability to earn a rate of return. Over here, this house is going to go up or down in value regardless of whether it's full of cash, empty of cash, mortgage to the hill, or free and clear. Let's say that this house appreciates this year 5%. How much is this worth at the end of that year? $105,000. Oh, well, let's increase the rate of return by hurrying and paying it off. So we pour all of our money in and we pay off that real estate property, and now it goes up 5%. Now what is it worth? 105. How come the same answer? Because equity always has the same rate of return. Zip, zero, nada. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how much equity you have in the property, whether it's mortgage deal or free and clear, it'll appreciate or depreciate regardless. When you separate your equity, it gives it ability to earn a rate of return. Let's say you earn 10% over here. What's this worth at the end of the year? $110,000. Wait a minute. I made 10 grand here and 5 grand here for a total of 15,000. But there's a mortgage there. Is that good or bad? I think it's good. If I borrowed that money at 6% interest, tax deductible, that means I would be paying, $6,000 on a $100,000 mortgage, let's say. So if it's $1 million mortgage, you'd be paying $60,000. But at 6%, You're borrowing money at 6, but it's a net cost of 4. I made 15. I made 10 here and 5 here. Minus 4 is a net of 11. I made 11% net by keeping the money separated. If I put it over here, I didn't make anything. I earned 0, zip, because this is going to go up or down in value regardless. So let's ask the question, what if this goes down in value? If I have all my money in that property and it goes down in value 10%, what did I just incur? A guaranteed loss. I guarantee you will lose your money if you have your equity in there, okay? I don't lose money when my real estate goes down in value because it's not in the real estate. I have it safely tucked over in the insurance contract, earning a rate of return equal to or greater, double, triple the net cost of the mortgage. I do not lose money when my real estate goes down in value. I'm in control. I can peel off half of the interest I'm earning here and make all the mortgage payments forever because I'm making more than the cost of the mortgage. Is this making sense? So that is the best way that I like to illustrate this concept. And so please keep in mind that when you need to explain this to somebody, take out a pitcher and goblet and pour some water back and forth and watch my video or pull it up on this channel and show this concept to people, because sometimes people just have a hard time getting their brain around why equity always has the same rate of return, 0. Okay. And so let's go to Home Equity 101 just to make sure we're on the same page. If you have a piece of property worth $350,000 and you owe $200,000 on it, the remaining $150,000 is what? That's your equity. So the difference between fair market value and all the loans on your property is your equity. The problem is most Americans will look at a $100,000 mortgage loan that you borrowed money at 9%, and they go, wow, I'm going to pay off and nearly triple that, $289,000. They have a tendency to look at the interest they're paying, and they view interest as their foe instead of their friend. Or $150,000 at 7%. Oh, look at this. Or even $200,000 at 6%. I'm going to pay $430,000 because they don't do the math of having the money that they borrow at 6% tax deductible interest or net cost of 4. How that $200,000 can be compounding at 8 or 9 or 10%. You could actually become your own banker by doing this. Another concept is this. You're going to incur one of two costs. If you have your money tied up in a piece of real estate, you're giving up the opportunity to earn a rate of return on that money. Now, some people argue and say, well, no, the real estate can appreciate in value. Again, it's going to do that regardless. If I have money tied up there that I could be earning 8 or 9 or 10% tax-free compounded rates of return in a max-funded IUL, I'm giving up the opportunity to earn that rate of return because it's tied up in the property. That's called an opportunity cost. Now, if I borrow the money out of my real estate, people go, well, that's not free. You're going to incur another cost. That's an employment cost. But I call it an employment cost because it's like hiring an employee. Why would I do that? Because if I borrow the money out at 4.5% interest, tax deductible, in a 33% brackets, it's a net cost of 3. I will hire an employee. See, I don't hire an employee and pay an employee $30,000 that makes me an extra $90,000. That's a 300% return on an employee. So do I save money by hurrying and getting rid of the employee? I got to hurry and get rid of this employee. I'm going to fire the employee because this employee is costing me $30,000 a year. Well, not if the employee is making you $90,000. If the employee is making you 3 times what they're costing you, that's dumb. Is this making sense? So you're going to incur either an opportunity cost or an employment cost. You have no choice. But if this one, employment cost, is deductible, this one is not, what would you rather incur? Deductible employment cost or non-deductible opportunity cost? I'd rather incur this one because I can make money big time. So when you separate equity and you put it into a liquid position safe, you will actually get out of debt quicker. You'll be able to use an amortized mortgage loan and you'll be paying simple interest tax deductible. Over here in this pocket, you'll be compounding money tax free. And pretty soon this pocket, your assets, will exceed your liabilities. And this one can be 200 or 300% more than the net cost of the mortgage, double or triple. So let me show you the math. You ready? Equity development is where people say, I want to get out of debt. And I've created educational episodes where out of debt to me is when you have enough money liquid and safe in this pocket, so to speak, in a max funded IUL, that any time with an electronic funds transfer or phone call, I can pay off the mortgage over here. I am out of debt. So this is good. And so many times you'll see outfits who will advocate maybe a biweekly mortgage plan where you send in half of a mortgage payment every 2 weeks if you're paid biweekly. And magically you have 26 half payments a year, which is 13 full payments. And your mortgage will be paid off in 21 years instead of 30 years. You cut off 9 or 10 years off the mortgage. Or sometimes people say, well, just bite the bullet and take out a 15-year mortgage. And well, that's okay. You're going to pay off the mortgage in 15 years. But actually, I can show you how to pay off that mortgage 2.5 years faster by putting that money that you're sending in extra principal payments over into an IUL policy, and you'll get out of debt faster, and you'll maintain liquidity in the process if you need the money. But this outfit years ago, they showed this sophisticated software that you're not going to believe this. It would show you which credit cards to pay off first, the 18% credit card or the 12% credit card. This is not rocket science. But see, you pay off this credit card, then you take what you were paying on that one, and then you apply it to the next one. And so you do this, and then you pay off your car, and then you eventually take all this money and you apply it against your mortgage to show you how to get out of debt. And it's okay. And so they showed a typical American paying off a 30-year mortgage in 12 and a half years by paying off all this debt and then applying it against here. And you have enough money to do this, but you're killing your tax deduction doing it this way, sending the extra principal payment to the mortgage company. It's like saying, here, Mr. Banker, here's an extra $500 or $1,000 this month. Don't pay me any interest on this. If I need the money back, I'll borrow it back on your terms and prove there's a need why I should have it. And if you need it, it's very difficult to get it when it's tied up in the property, okay? Well, if you socked away that difference of what you paid in mortgage payments and credit card payments into, let's say, an IRA or 401k earning 8%, they showed where you would end up with $987,000 tax deferred. Well, that's not all your money. Only about $650,000 of that is yours because Uncle Sam's going to take about a third of it at the back end on an IRA or 401k. This is what most of these, firms show you to do. That's good. They say, well, Doug, what do you do? Well, first of all, I keep that money liquid and safe, compounding tax-free in a max-funded IUL, a laser fund. And I stay liquid and safe in case I need the money because I'll be giving it to the mortgage company. The only way I can get it back is to sell the property or to borrow it. Here, it's liquid and safe. I'll have enough money compounding tax-free at a rate of return greater than the mortgage is costing me by maybe double or triple, like I've talked about. I'll have enough money in 10.2 years, very conservatively, at 8%, to pay off the mortgage 2.5 years faster. And then if I socked away the difference into a laser fund, I'd end up with $1,245,000 tax-free. What would you rather have, $1,245,000 tax-free or half that after tax using their method? This is huge. People say, is that what you do? And I go, no. I just showed you a better way. You want to see the best way? When I have enough money in 10.2 years to pay off the mortgage, why would I fire an employee that's making me double or triple what they're costing me? Because anytime I want, I can, with an electronic funds transfer, take money out of a laser fund and pay off the mortgage. But I want to keep earning double or triple what it's costing me to become my own banker. So I keep the mortgage there, and this isn't even refinancing, and I'll end up with $1,844,000. This is the best way. Math doesn't lie. And people say, is that what you do? And I go, actually not. I actually refinance. Every 3 or 4 years that I refinance my house for a newer, higher mortgage, I get on schedule to pay off the newer, higher mortgage faster than I was on schedule to pay off the lower mortgage before. Okay, people go, what? Because every time I refinance for a higher mortgage, I'm not spending it. I'm taking that money and earning a rate of return double or triple the net cost of the funds. I end up, if you kept doing this every 5 years, you'd end up with over $4 million. You choose, okay? So here in the first example, you pay $96,000 in tax by killing your tax deduction. In the second example, you pay it off after 10 years and you pay $83,000. If I don't pay it off, I pay zero tax. In the same example here, that's the difference. I would rather pay zero. The good way you come out ahead of 416,000. The better way, 600,000. I'd rather come out ahead for 839,000, and that's not by even refinancing every 5 years. That's just doing it once. So the summary is good, better, best. Never let it rest. Never let it rest till good gets better and better gets best. I would rather end up with $1,242,000 of profit, where I make $1,008,000 minus the mortgage costs. That cost is a benefit. It's not my foe, it's my friend, because by incurring that cost, I end up with a net of $1,242,000 instead of only $735,000 by killing my tax-deductible interest. Does that make sense? So if you want to learn more about this concept and why it may not be smart to just pay off your house the traditional way, I can show you how to have enough money to pay off your house anytime you want, probably 2.5 years sooner than any method of sending extra principal payments against your mortgage. But when you get there, you may not want to physically pay it off because you are out of debt, because on your balance sheet, you have enough assets that any time with liquid money, you can pay off the liability, but you're still making rates of return double or triple the net cost of the mortgage. So if you want to see examples, study my book, The Laser Fund. Simply go to laserfund.com or click on the link below. You contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I'll cover the rest of that cost. I require some skin in the game, but it's actually 2 books in one. This side is about 200 pages, 14 chapters with all the charts and graphs if you're a left brain learner. If you're a right brain learner, you flip it over and read this one. This has 62 actual client stories, and there's 4 or 5 stories in there of what I've been talking about. And so you can use your left brain, your right brain. If you want to use your whole brain, read both of these. And when you're in there claiming your free copy, because it retails on Amazon for $20, and if you pay that on Amazon plus shipping, thank you. But I'll give you a copy free. Just contribute it towards the shipping and handling, and I'll pay for the book. I'll fire out a hard copy to you via priority mail. When you're in there claiming your free copy, if you like to listen and learn or watch and learn, there's options there for audio and video. Check out the educational webinars we teach. They're free. You can even schedule an appointment with an IUL specialist to see how these concepts may apply in your particular set of circumstances.